Okay, hello second prep students. Our lesson for today is Unit 6, Aim High, Students Book, Telling Tales. In this unit, if you open your book and start reading the text, you will find it talking about a very rich lady who lost her son long time ago, but she didn't believe that he died, so she was always trying to find him. So at the beginning of the text, she put some advertisements in the newspapers to look for her son, or to look for her lost son. So the first word we're gonna learn, the news announced that she was looking for her son. She put some advertisements in the newspapers, and these advertisements announced or told to the public, told to everybody in the city or the country, that she was looking for her son, her lost son. So the word announced means made something known to the public. When you want to tell something to all the people or the public, you announce. Where was her son, or how did he disappear? He was traveling from a place to another on a ship, and this ship was called the Bella. The ship Bella had sunk, and all the passengers were presumed drowned. This ship sunk. The ship went under water, and all the passengers or all the people who were on this ship presumed or thought to be drowned, died underwater. So you used the verb sunk, which is the third form of the verb sink, to talk about the ship which went under water. But when we talked about people who died underwater, we cannot use the verb sink. Here we used the verb drowned. So again, the ship Bella had sunk, means it had gone underwater, and all the passengers or all the people who were on the ship were presumed drowned or died underwater. So sunk, gone down under the water, drowned, died in the water. So I use the verb sink for things, and I use the verb drown for people. She was overjoyed when she knew that her long lost son was still alive. So someone called her or told her by any means that her son was still alive. Then she was overjoyed. So here she was very happy or very sad. Of course, she was very happy. So the word overjoyed means very happy. But she was not sure that this man really was her son. So she sent an old family friend to visit him and corroborate his incredible story. She didn't believe his story. So she asked someone else to go and check whether this story was true or false. So the word corroborate a story, I use it when I want to check someone's story. So overjoyed means very happy, and corroborate means to check a story. He could remember so many details about the family that he soon convinced the family friend that he was her son. When this friend went to try to corroborate his story, he didn't recognize him. He didn't believe him when he saw him. But this man kept talking with him, until at the end he was able to convince him. He was able to make the man believe him. So the word convince made someone believe something. When you don't believe something, I keep talking with you, until I'm able to make you believe me, or I'm able to make you convinced. She was so happy to have her precious son again. She was so happy to have her precious son again. She was so happy to have her very loved son again. So I use the word precious when I talk about very loved people to my heart. I may also use the word precious if I talk about an expensive thing. For example, jewelry. I may say, I bought a very expensive ring. It's very precious. And of course, diamond is precious. So I use precious for people, for loved people, and I use the word or the adjective precious for expensive and valuable things. Several members of the family were dissatisfied with the situation. When this man came back home and met his mother, some of the family members agreed and were satisfied and believed him, and some other members were dissatisfied. They didn't believe him, alleging that the man was an impostor. Impostor is a man who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive you, in order to lie. So an impostor is not a thief, but he is someone who pretends to be another one. So the family or some members of the family didn't believe the man. They said he was an impostor. They were alleging. Alleging means that they accused him of being an impostor, but they didn't have a proof. So the verb allege means when you accuse someone of doing something without having a proof on it. So impostor, again, a person who pretends to be someone else in order to trick people or deceive people. Alleging, saying that someone has done something but having no proof. In this case, you are alleging. You are not accusing, or you are accusing without a proof. So you are alleging. There was a famous trial that lasted 188 days. What is a trial? It's a court case. When you go to the court of law and you find some criminals, you find some lawyers, you find the judge, you find the jury, the prosecution lawyers, and lots of people. This place is called a court or the court of law. But the event itself is called a trial. Over 100 witnesses claimed that the man was not her son. Who are the witnesses? Witnesses are people who saw a crime or people who have some evidence on someone. So people who appear in court to say what they know about a crime. They are witnesses. The jury found him guilty and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Who are the jury? In the court or in the trial, during the trial, there is a judge and there is the jury. The judge is someone who punishes or gives a certain punishment to the criminal. But who are the jury? The jury is a group of 12 people who watch the trial, discuss all evidences together, and at last or at the end of the trial, they reach to the final decision, which is the verdict. So the jury, the 12 people in court, found the man guilty. Guilty means, yes, he was a criminal, and he was sentenced, he was punished to 10 years in prison. He confessed that he had been an impostor all along. So this man, he confessed that he had been an impostor, mean he said, yes, I was an impostor. He didn't say, no, I was innocent. No, he confessed that he did it, that he was an impostor. He died in poverty in 1898. So confessed, admitted doing something wrong. When you say, yes, I did this mistake, I confessed. What is poverty? Poverty is a noun which comes from the adjective poor. When I say, for example, this man is very poor, he lives in poverty. So poor is the adjective and poverty is the noun itself. Now let's move to negative prefixes. What are prefixes? Prefixes are some letters added to the beginning of some words. Here we are going to learn about some negative prefixes. I add some letters at the beginning of some words to form their negative. I have, for example, prefixes like an, this, in, im, ir, and il. And I have some adjectives like acceptable. Acceptable comes from the verb I accept. When I accept something, it means I say yes, it's okay. So it's an acceptable matter for me. But when I want to make it negative, I don't accept it, I say it's unacceptable. So I add the prefix un or the negative prefix un to the adjective acceptable to form its negative. Agreeable. When I agree on something, I say it's agreeable. It's an agreeable matter. I agree. So when I don't agree about it, I say it's a disagreeable subject. It's a disagreeable matter. Decisive. Decisive, it's an adjective which comes from the verb decide. Decide. I decided to go on a trip next week. I decided to go and help my mother in the kitchen. So decide when you say you will do something. What does it mean, the word decisive? You are decisive when you are good or quick at making decisions. If you are quick making decisions, you are good at making decisions, I say you are a decisive person. You don't take time to decide. But if you are the opposite, you take a long time to decide anything, you are indecisive. So the indecisive person, he's the person who is bad in deciding or at deciding. Honest. When you are honest, you never lie, you never trick people, you are trusted, you are a trusted person, I say you are honest. When you are not trusted, you are dishonest. Legible. I use the word legible to talk about a clear handwriting. So this handwriting is legible, it's clear, I can read it easily. When a handwriting is bad and it's not clear, I can't read it easily, I say it's illegible. So I add the prefix il or ill to the word legible to form its negative, which is illegible. Literate. Literate is someone who can read and write, or someone who has knowledge about something. For example, if you have some information about geography, I will say you are literate. In geography, you are literate. But if you can't read or write, or if you know nothing about geography, I say, for example, concerning geography, you are illiterate. Concerning geography, you are illiterate. Concerning history, you are literate. You know a lot about history, so you are literate. But concerning geography, you are illiterate. So to change the adjective literate to its negative, I have to add the prefix il or ill. Mature. Mature, it's a sort of like a grown-up. A grown-up is a mature person, or someone whose behavior is grown-up. So sometimes you may be a grown-up, for example, 30 years old or 35 years old, but you have a childish behavior. Your behavior is childish, a little bit. So I say he's a grown-up, but he's not mature. So instead of the word not mature, I may say immature. So I add the prefix im to the adjective mature to form its negative. Practical. You are a practical person where you think a lot, use your mind, think a lot. You always depend on your mind, not on your feelings. You are a practical person. You respect your work, you respect everything important in your life. You are a practical person. But if I find you someone who never uses his mind and always goes after his feelings, I say no, you are not practical at all. So you are impractical. Impractical, I am. Rational. I use the adjective rational when I talk about someone whose behavior is good. He's always good. He never does something wrong, or he never does something crazy. So he is a rational person. But if I find someone else who is a little bit crazy, not stable, not calm all the time, speaks a lot, laughs a lot, I say he is an irrational person. Irrational person. Relevant. When I talk about two subjects, that are a little bit similar to each other or related to each other, I say these two subjects are relevant. They are related to each other. But if I talk about two subjects that are totally different, I say, what are you doing? This is irrelevant. Irrelevant means you are talking in two things that are not related to each other. So don't be irrelevant. Try to be relevant, organized. Stable. Stable is something which is not changing. For example, I may use it to describe the weather. Last week, the weather was stable. It was sunny in the morning, a little bit cold at night. But this week, it's been very unstable. An hour, it's cold. The next hour, it's hot. After an hour, it's windy. Then it started to rain. So last week, the weather was stable. But this week, the weather is being very unstable. Visible, of course, if I can see you, you are visible for me. But if I can't see anything, I say it's invisible. As I mentioned before when I explained the word virus. Virus is an invisible thing. I cannot see it. Okay guys, this is for Unit 6. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.